Sanibonani Dumelang Monwani Mzansi Africa. This is the place for you to air your views. Uzityandikila, this is Expressions. Dumelo Kalosa Kalubisi Umadlonoti. Eke sithi alala sithi unchu kwaba bathe baphumelela i-graduates. Sithi xinani emsoneni nikhabele ezintanjeni. Sisabhiyozela njalo. Kuyabonakala mbukeli ukuba kusekude engqinibeni. Njengoko kaloku sibona the high employment rate of young people. Surely the quarter of 2022 South Africa had 7.8 million people without work. Sadly, most of them are young people, including graduates. As we celebrate Workers' Day, we are looking at the current strained economy of our country. Apho umntu emtsha ebila esomeza ukufumana umsebenzi kodwa dololo. Uwena mbuzo siwubuzayo kukuba should the youth wait on the government or start finding solution, build businesses and have trillion mindsets? Sibuza kanye lonto. As Expressions, we took to the streets to find out from young people ukuba is it the time to encourage young people to start their own businesses rather than waiting for employment, and try to find out, Tukubatina, as young people, are we expecting a lot from our government? This is what young people had to say on the streets.
The youth is very dependent on government for employment, and I don't think there's enough opportunities created for the youth. There's not enough internships.
Maningi abantu, especially abantu abagraduatile abangenayo imisebenzi, ngicabanga ukuthi uhulumeni ungabasiza ubanike nge-training ezoba ne-experience ezodingakala uma bengafuna umsebenzi.
Most of the African countries like West Africa, you don't discover most of these opportunities that South Africa, they actually give here in South Africa. We even out of COVID-19, but we are increasing that allowance. So how are we trying to improve people? That means we are trying to improve people to get more lazy. So you can't be doing that each and every. That means you try to feed a child to keep on being lazy.
We expect a lot from the government, like as you expect a lot from your father. That you know that you are enough educated, but you're still sitting in your own sofa. Say that no, Papa, hey, what? This is what we are doing with the government. Government is not God.
We cannot blame laziness. It's the opportunities that we do not have. Because if you don't have the opportunities, that means you have nothing to do. So I cannot say that they are demanding a lot from the government, because it's the duty of the government to make sure that its people is taken care of.
Interest rates are very high, the repo rate is very high. In order to qualify for a loan to start a business, you need money.
I feel like the causes that we choose have a hand, because you can't choose a cause that is not in demand and expect to work. So yeah, I don't think we're actually asking for a lot, but we're also not doing enough.
We do have all the innovative ideas and creativity, but we cannot implement them because of some decisions are being made by elder people who have no interest when it comes to us. And I think it's about time that young people start to occupy a position so that they become a solution to the problem that we face in the society today.
Well, interesting comments coming from young people on the ground. We caught up with a young farmer who is living a proof that possibilities are endless. Uvuselela kaloku indyebo yasendulo yokufuya inkomo. Well, wabeka phansi intambo njengotitshala to find greener pastures in the agriculture field. Igama lakhe ke nguye uMawande Chulu. Let's meet up with him.
Mhlawumbe ungakho sichazela into kokubana uqale nini ukwenza i-farming, and of course mhlawumbe zeziphi izilwanyana odilisha ngazo?
Ineighbor yami umuntu othanda imfuyo, so xa simane sincokola etsho kumba hayibo mfana hambathane titshala kuthendani utitshala ke at first. Yes, before I resorted into this at titshala kutheni ungakuhambe nam sike siyobona uba kwenziwa ntoni phaa emaplazini. Nam that hey, it took me some time andiyivume loo nto, because as young as I was not interested in farming. Waqala njalo ke introduce, it was 2017. I started with 4 cows and 2 pregnant pigs. I had to start looking for a place. I hustled. Then fortunate enough, I got a place, the one that I'm in now. Unfortunately, pigs, they died. For swine flu. Yeah, but disturbed ipigarium. ngolo hlobo. Enkomeni ke focus enkomeni. With those 4 cows, then eventually I got a connection from Facebook pages. As with fortunately, these times you just go online, you Google. As long as you are interested in something, it will give you whatever that you are always searching.
But now, historically speaking, sectors such as these, agriculture, many abantu abatsha, they're not really fond of them. So why did you particularly choose the agriculture as opposed to ezinye izinto?
If ngiqale ngena kwi-field egcweleyo, it's going to be a problem for me to get into the market. There was a Minister of Education at that time. Before they choose their career, they should start checking about industry. So we have technology, agriculture. Now I started seeing that, okay, so it means in agriculture that I'm already in, I can get more fortune than these other industries that we are working for, waking up, going to work. I think that longevity, growth, and great fortune, or it can build generational wealth. I think, that's the exact way that I'm looking for.
Would you say umsebenzi onje is sustainable for you? And perhaps what are some of the imicelimngeni that you've had to encounter?
Our place of selling, it's e-auction. E-auction, it's where you take something that is exhausted. Yes, I can't be saying I'm breeding Boran kettles and when I need to sell, I take them to an auction. You understand? I don't make as much as I was supposed to get from this investment. Yes. So the problem is the market, but otherwise it is sustainable.
I think if we can, let's now project to the next 5 years, the next 10 years from now. Where do you see yourself, and particularly with this type of sector that you are involved in?
I would love to have a farm, game lodge type of, yes, well, it's going to be a farm and also it's a lodge. That's where I'm seeing myself in the next 10 years, providing that we get the help and assistance that we are always promised, even though asiyilindanga.
Just in closing, Xosele Sisonga, mhlawumbe ungakuhlaba ikhwelo kubantu abatsha, particularly abo bajonge kurhulumente to be able to sustain themselves, and ungabakhuthaza ngelithini?
It is difficult to think for the future because of thina sifuna into yangoku. But if you can try to shift your mentality, they should know that if 5 years are whether you invest or not. If 5 years, so just accept for me to make more money, it's me investing than me waking up and going to work. Because after 5 years, after a year, you can't multiply your notch income. But this gives you 100% of what you invested.
Wow, such an interesting conversation, Payana Nokawa Muliema. Siyabuza apho ekhaya into yokubana, with the high rate of unemployment, is it time for us as young people to start venturing into businesses rather than expecting the government bana asonyule? While we continue with the discussion, make sure that you interact with us on our social media platforms. Do not move a muscle. Siyabuya Mbekileni, Siyabuya Ngongoku. Welcome back. You are still tuning into Expressions. Kaloku elimbukeli liqonga lakho lokuba uzityande igila njengomntu omtsha. Sisathe gqolo kaloku njengabana abatsha who are doing very well. Beqala kaloku amashishini wabo. Right about now we're going to meet up with Untsiki Madikwa all the way from Alex. Asixelele banzi ngeshishini lakhe njengomntu ba uqale njani kungaphi ngoku ekhona. Let's meet up with her.
So when did this store open, and perhaps what was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, I was actually doing my online store via Facebook. Then in 2021, it's where I implemented the Owakui brand itself. And then in less than 10 days, like I got a fashion show. After fashion show, then that's what was ufumana inda uyobeka ndikimpatazam ape Alexandra. And now I believe that brand it will actually inspire whoever that inspired by the streets of Africa.
Speaking of which, actually, you might as well just tell us what is your market, and perhaps what are some of the clothing items you offer.
Impahla enazo now I actually have the hoodies, I've got sweaters, I've got caps, beanie hats, and then I've got impahla nezinye, because I'm also collaborating with the other designers that are in South Africa. Then it's where I actually give them a platform to expose their brand to under Owakui.
Abantu abatsha abaninzi, they don't sort of see it as something viable that you can actually tap into. So for you personally as Untsiki, why did you opt to go for fashion instead of ezinye izinto that are pretty much normal?
I did e-fashion because like my background, I started to do modeling from very early age, and then I see that like people, they always feel more comfortable when they dress smart, and like I think the way that you dress, it's what actually may build self-esteem go as a person, because the our is not only just a business, it's also beyond creating job opportunities for youth that are unemployed and the people that are interested to invest in fashion.
I mean, now let's extend this beyond these four walls, Alexandra. Talk to me about your initiatives that you've sort of embarked in at Cape Town.
Abantwana bangoku, they are so obsessed about social platforms, and what I'm encouraging them, ukuthi don't trend for no reason. Come to Owakui and then create job opportunities for them by doing sales and marketing of the brand and creating jobs for them to go to fashion shows.
All right, I would assume that uqale business enje kunamahlanje nyuka. So maybe walk us through some of the challenges that you've sort of had to encounter.
We're using the social platforms in these days, and then we do, have influencers, and then like about the business, as much as it challenge, you need to be very passionate and focused and consistent what you're doing. Once you understand your market, your market, the brand will talk itself. Because like I got more support to South African artists, well-known artists that have supported the brand in such a short space, and I also got more exposure to local newspapers and magazines, because what inspires them is that like I've been running the business on street of South Africa. I didn't wait for me to get an opportunity to Alexandra Mall.
I suppose I wouldn't be doing justice to the viewers if I wouldn't be asking you this question. Do you think umsebenzi wakho is sustainable? Can you afford a lifestyle with this type of job?
I can afford. It's all about uvuka uzenzele, vuka, and then you push, you don't relax any moment that you have, because I'm not shy about abantu bazawuthini. That is the biggest thing that has destroyed our communities.
You talk about vuka uzenzele, and our poll question for today is siyabuza into yokubana, do we as abantu abatsha have to rely on urhulumente to be able to sustain our lifestyles, or should we actually adopt the notion of being independent and wanting to wake up and do our sort of jobs so that we can be able to maintain ourselves?
As a black child, we don't need more funding. It's all about unity, believing in ourselves and actually embracing what we have.
So if awuvuka uzenzele, abantu abafana noNtsiki ngaba bazakwenzela on your behalf. Well, just in wrapping it up, Ntsiki, where to from here? Are we talking about having any other shops apart from this one? Like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
We're using the digital marketing. So the brand has reached to other countries as well, especially the neighboring countries. I'm getting the support like in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, and we have reached in Germany as well. Okay,
Well, there you have it from Untsiki right here at Alexandra Mall, talking about Vukuzenzela Mtomcho, because if you don't do it, people just like her will actually do it. For now, it's back to you in studio.
Wow, sithi halala gqiyazana inene uzoyithola njani uhlele koneni. Ayike simfisela konke kuhle uNtsiki Madika with her business venture. Right about now, we also took to the streets to find out from young people ubabona xa ungafumana nje noba imillion intoni abangayiqala. What type of businesses would you like to start as a young person? And this is what they had to say.
So a business that I want to start is an auditing business, because I'm into accounting and I'm studying accounting.
I actually prefer maybe a research business, or more like an economic research business where I can even involve all the international students and everything.
Me personally, I'm very interested in beauty, nails, hair, so I'd probably have a salon.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ngingaqala ibhizinisi lokwakha imiqasho, or ngakhe accommodation, since nami ngiyi-student ehlala e-res.
Yeah, student accommodation, and I would also buy trucks and lend them to those big companies so that they can use them for their purposes, so that they can get money from those trucks. Yeah.
I mean, I could do a farmer business. We have one Semakaya, we have a number of farmers that we are not using. They end up taking. It's a business that I should do, also to give more employees. I want to actually that they don't have anything.
Well, I think I would do a social entrepreneurship a business, simply because I think I'm more passionate about also making an impact in the society. But I think we need to play a part in terms of changing lives, and I think that's why I would take upon my initiative to become a contribution in the society.
Well, ukuvolunteer mbukeli wami yenye yendlela thina singabantu abatsha siyenzayo to gain experience while waiting for that dream job. Well, in studio today we are joined by Manape Chokhole, a 30-year-old who started volunteering at the Sophia Town Arts Center. Welcome to Expressions, all right?
Ndiyaphila Kholosa njani?
Ndiyaphila nam, ndiyeva apha kuthiwa uye wavolunteer. Can you tell us a bit about that? And I mean, you don't need to wayifunda to get to where you are today.
Oh, okay. So, Manape, creative poet. I have a background in anthropology, geography and international relations. And then I also did a certificate in marketing and advertising as well. But fast forward to volunteering. Volunteering and I believe volunteering is love work. You know, you need to love what you're doing, and it comes as a calling in a way, you know, because with all of what I've studied, I'm doing something a bit, you know, different from the background and the theory that I've studied, which is volunteering in the arts.
Oh. Interesting. How many pages?
It's only 3 for now.
It's only 3 for now. And I want you to speak to me about the challenges that you face as volunteer. I know that a lot of times, you know, yes, the next thing, experience. What are some of the challenges that you had to go through as volunteer?
Most of the time, volunteer, that means they need capacity or they need izandla as the extra. You know, but you need to make sure that you understand in the volunteer. You need to gel well with the people. You need to, you know, be on the ground with the people. Know, you know, go to communicate. You know their challenges. Yeah.
And Imali.
Imali godwa ayikho, hey.
Because volunteer, meaning that you're just giving your time.
You're just giving your time. Or sometimes you do get a thank you. You know, some. Thank you.
And looking at the rate of unemployment, thank you. Would you encourage, you know, young people to get into volunteering? And I mean, for them to gain experience, obviously, because you know, thank you. Is it enough? Would you encourage young people?
I mean, volunteering, it's not that you need to go every day. It's, you know, just an hour, 2 hours, once, twice a week. You know, it makes so much difference, you know, to yourself and to the people that you're helping. But I would encourage abantu to young people like myself to volunteer because it helps like so much in terms of experience. It helps you get to understand, you know, the business of work or the business of, you know, the operations when it comes to NGO, for example, because I've been volunteering in mostly NGO and art centers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we wish you all the best. You know, we understand that it's all about making a difference. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Kholosa. Thanks.
Hayi ke mbukeli wami ndiyathemba into yokubana nawe uthe wakhuthazeka and uzawungena kaloku kwicandelo lokuba uvolontiye njengomntu omtsha. We continue with the discussion. Make sure that you don't move a muscle. Siyabuya ngoku. Well, throughout the show, we've been showing you young businesses, you know, young people who are business-minded, you know, who run their businesses to sustain their lives. Probably by now, you are super inspired and you want to start your own business. Make sure that you are sharing but you don't have a capital. Don't you worry. Right now in studio, we are joined by the executive chairperson of NYDA, to talk to us about what the NYDA does and also to ensure that they get into entrepreneurship. Asanda, welcome to Expressions. How are you doing?
I'm well, thanks. And how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Let's talk about the purpose of NYDA, especially when it comes to supporting young people to start a mashishini and also getting to entrepreneurship.
So the purpose of the NYDA, which is the National Youth Development Agency, in the main is to really create a vehicle for young people to have access to various opportunities, particularly in the entrepreneurial space. What we also want to encourage ulucha is to also do away with la mentality obana entrepreneurship should be a second secondary thought, after you're unable to get employment, then, entrepreneurship is an afterthought. But we want to encourage, abantu abatsha to get into that culture of being entrepreneurs, being employment creators themselves. I think we can agree that, our economy, by and large, is unable to absorb the large number of cohort or the young people that are entering or exiting institutions of higher learning or exiting and wanting to enter into employment opportunities.
And there's a notion that, young people are lazy. What are your sentiments? And I mean, do you feel that young people are not reluctant to pursue entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I think low narrative yoba mulucha siyonqena and we want handouts, it cannot be more far from the truth. Through our interaction and when we interface with abantu abatsha on a regular, we are seeing young people being innovators. We are seeing young people, taking ownership of their futures. We are seeing a resilient cohort of young people. We've seen young people in spaces that were predominantly excluded, or spaces that did not exist in the past. I mean, we're seeing more and more young people. Kasteta with this concept of, the fourth industrial revolution. You've got young people in the creative spaces. You've got young people in your cloud architectures, your cyber securities, But the unfortunate reality is that most diabo are then unable to penetrate that market. And then that also becomes in the role of the agencies, that how do we create the necessary market linkages so that umdomcha can say, yes, I've got this particular skill set to offer, but how do we then create that conducive environment so that they're able to add value to the economy that we want to see flourishing?
And do you have, programs that are currently running where apply, I have this idea of running this business, capital. Assistant or to know
yeah. So opportunities as koyo are opportunities on an ongoing basis. We normally encourage young people to really interface and visit our social media platforms. So we need to be where young people are. Young people are on social media platforms. So we are on Twitter, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, our website, and if young people are unable to access those platforms, because we also are alive to the realities that there are high data costs that exist. So we've got 44 offices across the country. Young people can just visit your website to access their nearest office, wherein they can come to branches too, and our staff will be available to assist them with law information about dingayo.
I cannot leave this out. I mean, job hunting can really be a stressful, process for young people. Because we know the psychological effects.
Yeah. Mine would really be to say, as stated earlier, we are young people who are resilient. So in as much as the challenges here to Zinins, and we are alive to those realities, but mine would be really to encourage abantu abatsha just to keep, be resilient and be mindful of the fact that there's no challenge that is insurmountable, given the right mindset, but also given the agencies as to be able then to assist to lucha, to be able to empower themselves.
Wow, thank you so much, Asanda. And also empowered. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, expressions, I mean, when young people are involved and are part with dialogue. Well, are we free as young people? Well, Manape, take it away.
Lindeni, ulindentoni. Go out there and get it. Why can't you have it? Grab it, taste it like a rabbit. I'm sure it's worth it. Ulindentoni. They were born to make you beg the Lord for it. You are not to sleep at night watching over it. Sometimes it will feel heavy. Drag it. And once you have it, protect it. Because that it is your dream. Now live it. That it is your dream, your passion, your life. That it is your dream. Ulindeni, go out there and get it. Ulinde ntoni? Lindeni.